If you're a new or returning player, you are probably completely overwhelmed looking on the internet in GTA Online and just seeing all these different things you can buy. Well, today I'm going to try and make that a little bit easier for you. I'm going to rank every business in GTA Online in terms of money-making capabilities. So this is going to give you a good idea of where to start and give you a pretty good idea of what can pay you the most money. There are almost 20 businesses in GTA Online now. And considering when the game launched, there were only garages and apartments to buy, that's a big change for a lot of players coming back to the game. I need to start this video off by saying this is not a guide on how to use each of these businesses. This is a video of me giving my rankings on which ones are best. If you want to know how to use these businesses, I'll leave links to all of the videos I've made on every business in the game in the description below, so go check those out if you want to learn how to use them. So if you enjoy this video, a thumbs up would be awesome. Sub for more stuff like this. Let's jump in. Alright, starting off at the very bottom. A lot of people probably forgot this property existed in the game at all because not many people use it consistently. It's the Arena Workshop. In terms of making money, this one ranks dead last. The workshop does have some pretty cool features. Those features are a 30-car garage and an on-site mechanic that can upgrade your Arena War vehicles. But in terms of making money, the only real way to do it is with Arena War, and you don't even need the workshop to start those up. So this one, dead last. Second from the bottom is the document forgery office. This one is the worst MC business by far, and it's not particularly close. Even with all of the upgrades to this business, taking buying supplies into account, you're only going to make a maximum of $20,000 an hour from this business. To be fair, yes, it is a passive business, so you don't really have to work too much for that money, but still, there is not another business in the game that is worse than this one. Next up is the Penthouse. Again, this is one of the least useful properties in the game, and in terms of making money, the only missions you can start with this are the Casino Agatha Baker story missions, which really don't pay you that much. The first time through them though, upon completion, you're gonna get first time bonuses, plus if you host all of the missions and complete them in order, you will get the NS Paragon R armored sports car. So in total, that roughly pays off what you paid for the Penthouse in the first place, but beyond that, there's really no other ways to make money. So this one is near the bottom of the list. Next is the high-end apartments. Now these ones actually did get a pretty big buff in 2022. If you don't know, the high-end apartments let you start up 5 different heists: the Fleecer Job, Prison Break, the Humane Labs Raid, Series A funding, and the Pacific Standard. All of these got sizable payout increases in the middle of this year in 2022, but even then, they're still some of the worst paying activities in the game. On top of that, these heists take a really long time to complete, and you need 4 players to do them, and if you've played much GTA Online, you know relying on 3 other players is never going to be a great option, so this one is quite comfortably in the bottom half of properties. The next 3 slots are taken up by 3 other MC businesses: Weed, Cash, and the Meth Lab. Just like the document forgery office, all of these will make you passive income, and taking into account that you would theoretically have all of the upgrades for this business, plus taking into consideration the cost of buying supplies, the Weed Farm will make you $34,000 an hour, Cash will make you $38,000 an hour, and the Lab will make you just over $41,000 an hour. As you can see, we're starting to get into a bit more of respectable territory in terms of profit per hour. But with all that said, and even with the buffs that the payouts for these businesses got in 2022, I don't think you would find many people that wouldn't be quite content with putting them in the bottom half of properties in the game, which is where they belong. Next, I've put the Facility. The Facility is okay for making money. It's not quite in the top half of properties, but it's alright. A lot of the utility for this property though comes from the things you can store in it. Mainly the Avenger. That's the only place where you can store the Avenger. It's also got the Orbital Cannon, which is pretty common in GTA Online. But if we're strictly talking about making money, the way you make money with this property is through the 3 Doomsday heists: Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. On hard mode, Act 3, which is the highest paying one, will pay out $1.5 million. Now, there is a pretty common glitch with this property that can make you a lot of money, but outside of that, the reason these heists haven't ever really become meta is because they just take so long to complete. Not only do you have to do all of the setup missions like every other heist, you also have to do prep missions before the setup missions, and then you have your finale after that. So for most groups, any of these heists is going to take you at least 2 hours, plus you're going to have to split that final payout with at least one other person, because you need at least 2 players to complete these heists. I'm pretty confident in saying most players should be able to at least make upwards of $200,000 an hour with this property, which puts the facility somewhere around the middle of the pack. That, plus the fact that you can't do these heists solo, yeah, that's why I've got it where I've got it. Next, I've got the vehicle warehouse. Now, this business actually just got a buff in 2022, where before you wouldn't get any additional money. Now you can sell these vehicles in public lobbies, and now you're going to get a high demand bonus, which is a 2% pay increase for every other player that's in your lobby. Most players should be able to sell at least 2 high-end vehicles an hour with the vehicle warehouse. That alone is going to net you $160,000 profit per hour, but if we add in the fact that now you can get a high demand bonus with these vehicles when you sell them, you're looking at upwards of $200,000 an hour. Not bad. Next on the list is another business that just got a buff at the end of 2022, and that's the hangar. Of course, the hangar is one of the most useful properties in the game because that's the only place you can store your aircraft, but it is around middle of the pack in terms of making money now. And honestly, that's a pretty big improvement considering it was, well, let's say if it wasn't the worst business for making money in the game, it was very close. However, after the buff, you can now sell each crate for $30,000 instead of $10,000 that it was before, so that's a 3x pay increase. And if you take advantage of the bonuses you get for selling different types of product, you can make over $2.5 million per warehouse sale. On average though, most players should be able to source at least 6 crates an hour, and 6 crates worth $30,000 each is $180,000. So roughly, that's what you're going to make per hour, but we also take into consideration the high demand bonus, and that can buff your potential profits to way above $200,000 an hour. So now the hangar, it's not quite a top tier business, but yeah, it's around the middle of the pack now instead of being a D tier business before. On my list next is the final MC business we haven't spoke about. It's the Coke Locker. With all the upgrades, and if you're buying supplies, the Coke Lockup will make you just over $63,000 an hour. Now, I know if you're not really familiar with these businesses, that's going to sound crazy. Why is this business above the hangar that can make you $200,000 an hour? Well, that's because these businesses are passive. You only actually need to do anything for these businesses every couple of hours. So to make it simple to understand, they're basically just both completely different ways of making money. Even with the buffs in 2022, the Coke Lockup has definitely fallen from grace. A few years ago, everyone would have agreed that this was one of the best businesses in the game, but since then, Rockstar has just added a lot more better ways to make money, so the Coke Lockup is now, unfortunately, just about average, which is a bit of a shame. The next business on the list is another one that's been a little bit overshadowed by all the new properties coming into the game. It's the Crate Warehouse. Now, this is still a pretty good way to make money. Most players should be able to get at least $200,000 an hour with this one, maybe even over $250,000 to $300,000 an hour if you're pretty good at it. The crate warehouse is pretty simple. Just like the hangar business, your job is to source crates, go out and steal them, bring them back, and then sell them for more money in the future. But in the middle of 2022, Rockstar also added a technician in each of your warehouses that can go and do this job for you once every 48 minutes if you pay them $7,500. So not only can you actively make money for this business while going out and sourcing crates on your own, but you can also make money passively now by paying your technicians to go and get you more crates. A great way to make money with the crate warehouse is to fill up all of your crate warehouses and wait for a double or triple money event week. That's a really effective way to make millions and millions of dollars. But outside of that though, if you're not making use of these events when they come around, unfortunately the crate warehouse is still just a pretty good business and not so much a great one. Next up is the bunker. I wasn't really too sure where to put this one, but I've got it just above the Coke Lockup. The bunker can do a lot of different things, including unlock you a lot of things if you do the research, but for this video we're talking about money, and just like all of the other passive businesses we've gone over, taking into consideration if you have all of the upgrades and you're buying supplies, you can expect to make just under $60,000 an hour with the bunker. So why do I have this one above the Coke Lockup? Well, now in 2022 and beyond, you can also complete an ammunition supply run. You can do one of these every 48 minutes. It's only going to take you, I'd say, 3 to 5 minutes to complete, and you're going to get $50,000 for doing that one. So that's an extra $50,000 an hour you can make if you want to. and for that reason, it's just slightly above the lockup. We're moving into some really good properties now. Next up on the list is the auto shop. There are 3 different ways to make money with the auto shop. Let's go through them on worst to best. So the worst way to make money with the auto shop is through the exotic exports list. Each day when you're driving around the map, a blue dot will pop up every once in a while with the location of an exotic exports card that you can steal and deliver to the docks for $20,000. That's not bad, that can be pretty fun to do every once in a while, but that's not really serious money. The next way to make money with the auto shop is through the auto shop business itself, modding customers' cars and delivering them back to them. You can either drive the car back to the customer yourself, or you can pay your staff in the workshop to do it for you. You're not going to quite make as much money per sale if you do it that way, but it also means you're not going to have to waste time driving all the way across the map. If you come back to your auto shop once an hour and modify and get your staff to deliver the vehicles to the customers, pretty confident in saying you can make at least $50,000 an hour just doing that. And the final and most effective way to make money with the auto shop is through the contracts. Completing any of the contracts in the auto shop will get you about $170,000 on average. These contracts shouldn't even take half an hour to complete though for the average player. So already there you're making over $300,000 an hour, but there's also one contract in the auto shop that pays you out $300,000 per contract. That's the Union Depository contract. The funny thing is you can just continue resetting your contract until you get the one you want. So if you do the Union Depository twice an hour, you can comfortably make over $600,000 an hour with the auto shop. That well and truly cements it in the next tier of businesses, and it only gets even better from here. Next on the list is the arcade. This one lets you start up the Diamond Casino Heist, which can make you some pretty serious money if you know what you're doing. If you're running the Diamond Casino Heist as a duo, you can comfortably take over $2 million per heist. Even if you're splitting that 50-50 with your partner, you're making at least $1 million a heist, and most players should be able to complete the Diamond Casino Heist in under 90 minutes if you know what you're doing. Honestly, 90 minutes is pretty generous. A lot of players can do it even faster than that. So yeah, if you've got a buddy and you want to grind a business, this is a pretty good one to do. On top of that, the arcade also has the master control terminal inside where you can operate all of your other businesses from the one spot. So that's a really nice feature that, if you think about it, is actually going to make you more money because you don't have to fly out to all of your other businesses and operate them from there. So yeah, the arcade, really good business, definitely still in the top tier. At number 4 on the list is the second best passive business in the game. This one just came out at the end of 2022. It's the Acid Lab. This business can make you over $60,000 an hour completely passively, which actually puts it at similar numbers to things like the bunker and the coke lockup. But the thing that puts this business over the edge is the fact that all of the sale missions for this business are directed towards solo players. So where for the bunker and coke lockup, for example, you might have 3 sale vehicles that can take you 20 minutes to complete a sale, the Acid Lab is only ever going to spawn you 1 sale vehicle, which means you can complete the sale mission in about 5 minutes. All up, this is a very simple and profitable business to run. Rockstar looked at all of the feedback from businesses like the nightclub, MC businesses, and bunker and made a business that is really good for solo players. The Acid Lab is as close to a must-own business as you can get, and considering it's very cheap to get as well, this is one that almost all players should own. For the top 3, we are well and truly in the must-own category. These are properties you need to own if you want to make lots and lots of money in the game. And in the number 3 spot, we have the agency. There are a ton of ways you can make money with the agency, so let's go through them all. One of the least effective ways is through the safe that's in your office in the agency. And initially, this isn't going to make you much money at all. But for every 5 security contracts you complete, the safe is going to make you an additional $500 per hour. That continues stacking up to 200 security contracts. So once you complete 200 security contracts, that safe is going to make you $20,000 an hour forever. The next way, as I mentioned just before, is security contracts. These contracts are honestly very easy to complete. They're going to make you at least $30,000, up to potentially $70,000 if you get one that's on the harder difficulty. These contracts really only take you about 5 minutes to complete, maybe 10 minutes at most. So that right there is pretty good money. The third way to make money with the agency is through payphone hits. Every 20 minutes you can call Franklin, request a payphone hit, and he'll give you a short mission to complete. This is only going to give you $15,000, but he's also going to give you a challenge, a different way to complete the mission if you choose to do so. If you complete that challenge, which is always pretty simple, he's going to pay you an extra $70,000, which means if you complete the payphone hit and the challenge, which is only going to take you somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes most of the time, you are going to get $85,000. That is insane. And that's not even the best way to make money. The best way to make money with the agency is the contract, the Dr. Dre contract. This contract will pay you $1 million on the dot, and for most players, this should take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete. It would be a lot quicker than that, but unfortunately, you can't skip the cutscenes, which is, pretty annoying. Rockstar, hopefully we can change that. So taking into account the 4 different ways you can make money with this business, not even to mention the fact, because we're only really talking about money, the fact that you can get your own personal armory and Amani tech vehicles, which are insane. Yeah, this is well and truly a must-own business, and I've got it at the number 3 spot. Let's move to number 2. The second best property or business to own in all of GTA Online is the nightclub. It is genuinely insane how good this business is now. We've spoke about passive businesses a lot. And like I said before, the second best passive business in the game is the Acid Lab, which is going to make you about $60,000 an hour. The nightclub blows that out of the water. The first passive way to make money with the nightclub is through the safe that's in your office. If you can keep your nightclub popularity full, which shouldn't be too hard for anyone, really, that safe alone is going to pay you $50,000 every in-game day, which is 48 minutes real time. So that on its own is making you about $60,000 an hour, which already matches the Acid Lab. And that's not even mentioning the nightclub warehouse, which is another incredible way to make money with the nightclub. At its maximum output, meaning you have the 5 technicians working on the best possible businesses in your nightclub warehouse, the warehouse is also going to make you somewhere around that $50,000 to $60,000 an hour range as well. So yes, all up, almost completely passively, the nightclub is going to make you $100,000 an hour. Genuinely insane and absolutely a must-own business, whether you're a brand new player or you're a player who has 10,000 hours. And at number 1, like there was ever any debate, the best way to make money with the best property in the game, technically it's not even a property, it's the Kasaka submarine. This is the property you need to start up the Cayo Perico heist, and even though it's been nerfed, meaning you can only complete this heist solo once every roughly 3 hours, every time you complete this heist, you should be able to get $1.5 million. Most players nowadays can comfortably complete the Cayo Perico heist within an hour. So for that 1 hour that you're doing this heist, you're making $1.5 million. Nothing else really comes close. The Cayo Perico heist and the Kasaka are still king. And if you don't have one of these, I don't even know why you need me to say it, but yes, buy one of these as soon as you possibly can. This thing is incredible. So we'll wrap it up there. If you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up would be awesome. Subscribe for more stuff like this. I know I gave you a lot of info in this video, but not really much context on actually how to use these businesses. So I'll leave a link in the description below to all of the individual guides for these properties, plus the video where I went over every business in the one video. So hopefully those videos can help you on your way to become a multi-millionaire. Most importantly though, I hope you're all staying safe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade.